Breaking news. We are 15 minutes. We have a quarter of the news and quarter of the time. Welcome to 15 Minutes. I'm your host, Scott Kelly, and today we are discussing Brazil's history and the current struggle with the environment. Okay, to tell you about the current issues, we need to take you back to where the environmental hazards first came to the forefront of Brazilian news. In doing so, we'll show you a clip from the 1992 Earth Summit, which occurred in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Here, one of our team members interviewed an environmental activist from the group Amigos de Terra.
This is Heather reporting live from Brazil. I'm standing here with Isabel, a rainforest activist, and we're actually standing right outside of the building where Earth Summit is taking place. So, as someone with your point of view, what would you like to see come of Earth Summit? Well, Brazil right now has the strongest environmental legislation in the world, so I really want to see the Earth Summit continue to progress these laws that are being passed to protect our environment. So why do you think Brazil has the strongest environmental legislation? Honestly, it all began with the destruction of the Amazon rainforest. It was really devastating for me as an environmental activist to watch my country destroy its greatest natural resource. And so I really think the efforts of activists like myself brought awareness to the government, and now we're looking at some really strong and good legislation. Well, thank you so much for filling us in on this important topic. This is Heather with Channel 42.
Unfortunately, Brazil's strong environmental legislation in the 90s that we just heard about slowly weakened as President Dilma Rousseff passed laws through Congress that eliminated certain environmental codes. The rainforest slowly diminished as developers had more license to build. Here's a quick time-lapse film showing you the overhead destruction of the rainforest. Wow, those are some devastating images we just saw. Alright, fast forward to present day. The 2014 World Cup and the 2016 Olympic Summer Games were hosted by Brazil. There were many environmental issues surrounding these events that were making international headlines. However, years ago Brazil was a prime choice to host the World Cup due to their environmental plans for the future. Let's take a look back at a video from the 1992 Earth Summit, where a reporter is interviewing an International Olympic Committee member about the convention to get some more information.
This is Erin reporting live with Alex, an IOC member after the Earth Summit convention in Brazil. And we're here to get the latest on what was actually discussed. So Alex, after sitting through these meetings these last couple days, what is your viewpoint on Brazil as a whole and an environmental model for other nations?
Well, I actually have great hope for Brazil as a country and as an environmental model. After sitting through my meetings, I think that Brazil is one of the top contenders for hosting a future Olympic Games.
Very exciting. And what would you say was the biggest accomplishment of this convention?
I believe the biggest accomplishment would be the discussion of Agenda 21. And the Agenda 21 is an environmental action plan for the next century that focuses on sustainable development of Brazil. And I actually have some of my notes here, so
I would love to see those.
And so we talked about how the main objective of the agenda is actually to ensure that future development in all proceeds in a sustainable manner. And so therefore, the plan would be to integrate economic, social, and environmental policies and to reduce consumption, therefore preserving
and increasing biodiversity once again.
Well, you heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen. Brazil's a top contender for the World Cup and hosting the Olympics in the near future. This is Erin with Channel 42 signing out.
As you can see, people were very optimistic about Brazil's environmental progress and the possibility of them hosting the Olympics in the future. However, we all know that Brazil didn't uphold all of its environmental promises when hosting these sporting events. Up next, we'll hear from an IOC member who will talk to us about what went wrong during these events. Today we have Jennifer from the International Olympic Committee joining us for an interview. Thank you, Jennifer, for joining us today. In your opinion, did Brazil host a successfully environmentally friendly Olympic Games?
I do not think Brazil was very environmentally conscious when preparing for this Olympics. And I should have known, just looking back at how they prepared for hosting the World Cup a couple of years back, that it was going to be a big challenge for us on the IOC to make this environmentally sustainable.
Right. So as a member of the IOC who worked with Brazil leading up to the Olympics, what do you think the most devastating impact was?
As an environmentally concerned person, I really pushed for emphasis on being sustainable, but unfortunately there was just not enough adequate funding to accomplish these goals. I believe that Brazil's funding mainly went towards building athletic facilities, and we did not do a good job of balancing building these structures with being environmentally friendly. As an IOC member, I feel like I succeeded in completing the Olympics, but I do have a deep regret for the environmental impact that we had.
I'm sorry. Could you elaborate on the exact environmental issues surrounding the Olympic Games?
Well, there were a lot, Scott. And the first one was the big challenge of the polluted waterways. There was debris floating in the waterways where the Olympics were supposed to be held, trash everywhere, quite disgusting. And so our plan was to build these treatment plants, and the funding only covered one of them. There were supposed to be 8. It was very unfortunate. And we also thought we could save a lot of money on public transportation, using that to our advantage so we wouldn't put off carbon dioxide with all the other traffic. But unfortunately, right around that time, a recession hit, and it just ended up costing a lot more money to use public transportation. And that's really where all our funds went that were supposed to go towards clean air, water, and sustainable structures.
It's a shame.
It is.
So if you could go back and change one thing about how the IOC approached these Olympic Games, how would you handle it differently?
I would definitely go back and make sure the IOC had a definite plan for after the Olympics. Right now we're looking at so many structures that are just going to be unusable. We have nothing to do with them. It's a huge problem for us right now. And so that is my biggest regret. I wish we would have made a plan for that.
Okay. Thank you for taking the time to fill us in on the process. When we come back, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to hear from an environmentalist about some solutions to these dire problems. In the past 5 years, there have been over 50 confirmed murders of environmental activists. Due to this, my guest today has asked to keep this interview completely anonymous. Today we'll be hearing from a Brazilian activist. So what do you think are some of the possible solutions to Brazil's environmental problems following the Olympics? To start with, how do you think we could decrease air pollution?
Air pollution has actually killed many people over the years in Brazil. To decrease it, an immediate solution would be to try and use car transportation as much as possible. Carpool to work, take public transportation. Both of these are immediate solutions that we can act on right now. In the future, we can even maybe invest in electrical cars.
That's an interesting take on air pollution. How do you think we could decrease water contamination?
To decrease water contamination, we could buy and use products which are not chemically damaging to the environment if they get into the water. Water contamination is also driven by deforestation, which results in erosion causing soils to enter the rivers.
As we know, Brazil has had a huge issue in controlling deforestation in the past. What are your views on the present situation?
Looking back at the past, the deforestation rates have decreased within the past 10 years relative to what the rates used to be. However, these deforestation rates are still unacceptable, and I would like to see more actions taken to save this unique land. Changing the mindsets of people today would be a great start. Everyone needs to understand what is truly happening. There needs to be strict laws that are enforced which protect the rainforest from being developed.
Alright. These sound like some pretty small and easy solutions that everyone in Brazil can participate in. Thank you so much for coming on to our show today and talking about these solutions. Stay tuned as we'll talk about how developers can use these solutions coming up next. Our final guest this evening is an international environmentalist who works with developers in Brazil. Give a round of applause for Nancy Smith, everyone. How are you doing today?
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. So Nancy, what does your line of work entail?
Well, Scott, my main purpose is to protect the environment. But more specifically, I do work directly with developers to make sure their guidelines for their projects are ecologically friendly. I'm actually working with a developer in Brazil right now.
Oh, okay. That's cool. Can you give us any more details on that project?
I can, actually. So the first step of this process is talking to the developers to make sure I know what their project is. And so I contacted these developers and found out that they were going to be creating an ecotourism attraction in the Amazon rainforest of Brazil. So I asked them what they were going to be doing to minimize their impact on the environment, because that's right in the heart of the Amazon. They told me that they're going to be preserving the ground level by creating their lodges or cabins in the canopy area of the rainforest. So that was pretty cool. And they also told me that they're going to use some farmland and actually get some landless peasants to help till the farmland and get tourists to help do an hour of work a day. And the tourists would also go around and do a bunch of other ecologically friendly activities. And so reviewing all these guidelines, hearing their ideas for this, it really sounded like it was environmentally conscious. And so I ended up approving the guidelines, and I was very impressed with the measures they took.
Wow, that's really interesting.
Yes, it is.
So is ecotourism something you would endorse?
Oh, definitely. With all of the problems in Brazil's environment, current ones, the struggles we've overcome as a country, having a tourism attraction that promotes ecologically friendly use of the environment, I feel like that's a good and fast solution.
Thank you, Nancy.
Thank you.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we have for today. This is Scott Kelly signing off. Tune in next week to 15 Minutes as we discuss the Haitian Revolution.